WoW's new drive system probably won't be used outside of its GTA-style Goblin Zone, but devs are going to think about recycling its parts elsewhere. Goblin Theft Auto. So... hey, it's our guy, Harvey Randall, my favorite games journalist. If you're at all familiar with WoW, my WoW coverage for this site, oh, I am. I'm your biggest fan. You might know that I'm overall a fan of MMO's new shift towards evergreen systems like skywriting, warbands, delves, and the like, all things that could be used in future expansions to great effect. The drive systems seem like that at first glance, but speaking to Ian and Associate Design Director Maria Hamilton at an event celebrating all things Goblin last week, I asked how it came about. I asked, did someone at a meeting just go, let's do drifting? You're not far off. We kind of had some very silly meetings at one point, laughing and joking about what would be fun in Undermine. We were planning out the zone, and we were talking about what we thought, how we could deliver the Undermine. People have been waiting for a very long time. What would that look like? What would those mean streets be? How can we make it chaotic and Goblin? That led us to drifting, believe it or not. Boosts and crazy jumps. I mean, to me, this makes complete sense. If you play the Goblin starter quest, one of the first things you do is get in a hot rod, and there's like these crazy highways looping everywhere, and you can go really fast. You can run people over. So it seems like a natural extension of that. Obviously, rockets are very popular. Explosions, being fast, you know, that it makes sense. But I'll say that in my experience with Undermine so far, man, being in the city and seeing people speeding by has added a lot of life to the city that I didn't expect. Like, I expected the drive system would be cool, but I didn't think about how it would feel to see other players just whizzing by in some random direction at all times. That is really cool. It really makes it feel lived in. If you haven't got a chance to do donuts on the PTR or live servers, let me explain. The drive system is a ground cousin to skywriting. Yes, true. It is fun. It is really fun. I couldn't help but wonder if Drive would be translated in some form to the real game. You can't make a horse drift. We talked about that the other day on stream. It does seem like devs are laying the groundwork for something. The answer, as per Hazakostas, is yes. But also no. I mean, obviously they're not working on that yet. They have plenty on their plate already right now with just the current patch. Currently our focus really has been on building this bespoke system for the Undermine area, making it as awesome as it can be. But of course, everything we do, the lessons learned, engineering, the tech that we got to make handling feel better and more dynamic, to enable things like drifting, we're going to think about how we can apply those tools to make just gameplay and WoW more broadly fun going forward. But as far as the drive system goes, that was built to be an Undermine specific system. I mean, yeah, because it's a very specific car. They have the garage there where they change, like, you can collect the specific parts that in the garage they can change out what kind of boosters and stuff you have on your car. So yeah, that makes sense. But it also feels like this is a bit of a testing ground for that technology. Yeah, I'd be shocked if we didn't get some equivalent in the future. Like, obviously they're not gonna have a drive system in Silvermoon City, right? But maybe like an evolution of that system in Silver. Wouldn't that be so hilarious if, like, because everyone's been waiting for them to do the revamp of Silvermoon for all these years. We have been waiting and waiting for them to finally get around to updating the zone and letting us fly in it. It would be hilarious if they finally get around to it, but they don't add flying. They add, like, better ground mounts. Yeah. They should. The elves need to loosen up a bit. I think if you're a goblin, you should be allowed to take out your hot rod in any city. Yeah. I can imagine all the elves sipping their tea just to have the hooligans drifting through their street. Yeah, I can imagine this too. It's very easy to imagine. Yes. We should get powerboat racing in 1,000 Needles. Right? So, that's another thing. That's another reason that this feels so natural. It feels like such a natural part of the Goblin City. Because in classic 1,000 Needles, they had the racetrack there. There was a bunch of quests there that were like, you even have to go, for one of the quests, you need to get a part for the car that you need to go talk to Baron Revelgaz in Booty Bay about, who's now one of the major trade princes here we meet in Undermine. So like all of the it was implied very heavily and explicitly shown that all the goblins cared so much about racing and would go above and beyond to make it happen. Yeah. They should really just bring Kazan back. I think so too. I redid the starting zone the other day and I miss Kazan. They should just let us get it back because the volcano exploded. I understand we needed to leave. There was Deathwing, there was a volcano, but that's over now. There's no reason that we can't return. You know, just let us go back. Shit. No, I'd be shocked if we didn't get some equivalent in the future. Maybe different control styles for different categories of mounts. But it does surprise me a little bit to hear. Why? There's nothing surprising, really, about the fact that this specific system is for Undermine. Just like how dragon flying was for Dragon Isles. But skywriting is for everywhere, right? So I think it's not crazy or surprising. Plunderstorm is a great example. Oh yeah, they have been experimenting a lot. I imagine a considerable amount of resources went into building a Battle Royale mode with Guild Wars 2 style action types. I remember hearing about Plunderstorm early on because I was going to be involved in the tournament. And when I first heard about it, I wasn't able to talk about it yet. And I was just losing it. I was like, what? You're going to make a Battle Royale version of the game. So it's like, it's a completely different version of the game that you're just using parts of the game to make. Just like as a mini game. I was just so amazed. Because, I mean, that's what I love to see. I love to see the innovation, the willingness to experiment, willingness to change things up, freshen things up, you know, see what works, see what doesn't work. Just like with Plunderstorm, I wouldn't be shocked if Blizzard is building up a bank of technological know-how that it's going to use later. That's the other thing. That's the other benefit of experimenting and doing the innovative content is you might, in the process, discover things, discover new technology, new ways of going about things that could benefit the overall game in unexpected ways, too, right? It's kind of like how a space program usually produces all kinds of different technologies that were not specifically for space, but were a side effect of the technology that was researched for space. You know what I mean? For now, my dreams of doing donuts in the Stormwind Cathedral Square are dead in a ditch. Oh, man. Specifically, the one I crashed my hot rod into. Man, now I want that. I want to do donuts on the cathedral steps. I can imagine it so clearly. Who knows? Maybe they'll add a new game mode that's like Mario Kart. I wouldn't put it past them at this point, really. I would, who knows? Well, I loved the article. I love Harvey's articles. Always do.